We acknowledge the land on which we sit, in which we call the North Clackamas School District, rests on the traditional and indigenous lands and village sites of the Native peoples of the Kalapuya, Chinook, Molalla, and the Clackamas. We take this opportunity to offer gratitude for the ability to learn
and work and be a community on this land.
and we offer thanks to the original caretakers of this region.
We recognize the historic policies of colonization, genocide, relocation, and assimilation
That affected the indigenous and native families, both past and present,
and that will affect those in the future.
And honor the resilience and revitalization of our indigenous and native communities.
Pay our respects to the elders, both past and present, who have been the stewards of this land throughout the generations.
And we want to thank our North Clackamas students for that video. Board members, please stand. And Director Olson, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. In the board packet, board directors, you will find the consent agenda for tonight's meeting. Do we have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
Chair, I'd like to move that we approve the consent agenda, which includes employment changes and minutes from the October 9th meeting.
And do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved by Director Wachter and seconded by Director Tam Trang. I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed? The motion passes. Oh, they're not online. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so just 5. Okay. The motion passes with a vote of 5-0. Yes, we were possibly going to have 2 directors online, but they are not there yet. So next on our agenda is the Human Resources hiring update. I welcome Chief of Human Resources and Business Services, Michelle Riddell, who will introduce our guests.
Great. Good evening, directors. Thank you for having us. We are pleased to be here tonight to present to you our 25-26 update on our recruitment, hiring, and retention. So I'm pleased to introduce our amazing team here. Next to me is Will Ruley, Director of Human Resources. Then Dr. Joe Bridgman, our Associate Director of Licensed Staffing. John Brooks, Interim Associate Director of Classified. Unfortunately, Dr. Keela Boyer could not be with us tonight. So make sure I can do that. These are always tricky. Nope. Big circle. Thank you. It's always the first test. So human resources, we are really focused on people and culture. And we really work at hiring and recruiting and retaining staff that is really committed to our school's district mission, core values, and vision. And one of the things that we center our work around is building a workforce that really reflects our diverse communities that we serve. And we also support professional growth really at all levels of our organization. And one of the things we are working on is really to look at how we can support a culture that really supports and empowers our employees to really try and retain and really promote a positive working environment. So those are some of the things we're focused on. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Joe Bridgman. He's going to talk through our licensed hiring data. And all the data you're going to see is really as of October 1st.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much. As Michelle shared, my focus is supporting our licensed staff. And so as she shared, this is a snapshot of our data as of October 1st. So we have hired 144 new staff. Of those 144, 85 are new to the district and 59 are our temporary staff that we've rehired. The chart that you see on your right is a breakdown of those new hires by their licensed category. So secondary teachers, elementary teachers, and within each of those would be different categories: elementary teachers, third grade teachers, kindergarten teachers, etc. To give you a sense for how this compares to last year, we had 155 licensed staff hired last year, of which 90 were new to the district and 60 were rehired staff. So very similar to last year. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, excellent. The chart that you see on the right, again, same number. It's the 144 new staff that we've hired. Instead of breaking it down by licensed category, this is by the levels group. So all elementary staff that were hired, high school licensed staff, etc. The area you see on the left is the licensed team processed 349 employment shifts. So an employment shift could be like a transfer. So this could be a school counselor moving from one school to a different school within the district. It could be any kind of change in title. So an assistant principal to a principal, or something similar to a title change. An FTE change, so that same school counselor, maybe they also went from a 0.5 to a 1.0. That would be an employment shift as well. And any type of resignations or retirements. To give you a sense for what this looked like last year, we had 370 employment shifts last year. So again, pretty similar to the year before. So this wonderful chart, this is our voluntary separation matrix. So any licensed staff that resigned or retired. And so one thing that I want to draw your attention to is that this is last year's data. So we're not looking at 25-26 data because we simply haven't finished the year yet. So if you look at the orange bar on the right of each of those graphs is the 24-25 school year. So last year we experienced 84 retirements or resignations. And to compare that to like 23-24, it was 108. And the year before that, it was 106. So we're trending down from from the year before last to last year in terms of the number of resignations and retirements. A few to point out to you: far on the left, accepted another position. So that is a licensed staff member left North Clackamas for another school district. Another one moving kind of right there in the center. Those are the number of licensed staff that left the district because they were leaving our catchment area or Oregon, Portland, whatever their case may have been. You can see as we move to the right, 15 seeking other employment. So these are the number of licensed staff that left education. And you can see that our trends are similar to what they've been the year before. And then 28 teachers retired in 24-25. And if you look at that across the prior years, pretty similar retirements across the years. So no significant trends at this time that we're seeing in terms of retirements. But this just gives you a snapshot for the last several years in terms of our licensed staff that are leaving the districts and a general breakdown of what they're leaving for. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to John Brooks.
Thank you. I have the opportunity to share with you the same sort of information that Joe did, except for the classified staff, the valuable folks that support our work every day with our kids. I'm fortunate to get to work with a fantastic team that processes these hires and recruiting, working with Gidget and Yumile and Alexis and Chase, who's right there front and center. He'd appreciate that. During the same time period in classified, we hired 91 new classified staff and processed over 290 employment shifts. And as Joe shared, that can be transfers. That can be quite often in the classified realm. We have folks that will start as temporary or part-time and move within the district to positions that are more full-time or permanent. In relation to last year, we hired 122 folks and processed over 360 shifts. So numbers there are down a little bit, and that's reflected there in the chart, as was the same with Joe's. The chart on the right side, that's broken down by areas. So a large number is in instructional support. So our paraeducators that are working directly with kids, or maybe caretakers in the care program after school, administrative support in various departments around the district, and then operations support, anywhere from nutrition services to custodial, all those things that keep the system running. Let me change that. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I got it.
One area that's been terrific is the transportation department. As of October, we've hired 13 driving positions. This is the old slideshow. Pretend that says 7 new bus drivers, 6 drivers in training, and 4 bus aides. But we've hired 7 new bus drivers who are already licensed and taking routes and driving kids around every day, 6 drivers in training who are in the training process to get all the different required licenses and certifications to operate the school buses on their own, and 4 bus aides. Our transportation recruitment specialist, Shannon, continues to recruit and manage the staffing at the transportation department and does an incredible job. It's a department with over 200 employees. She's constantly recruiting, and when we put this together, there was less than 6 openings currently. And so doing an incredible job of keeping transportation staffed. In nutrition services, facilities, and care, care is the after-school program. Our HR recruiter, Drew, has spent a lot of focus prioritizing these areas and continues to work closely with the administrators. These departments often have part-time jobs or some very short-term jobs, maybe like 3 hours a day or something, and sometimes work in multiple locations, so they can be difficult to fill. We even added some additional positions last year when there were some additional care locations opened, as well as the every student receiving free lunch. But currently, nutrition only had 3 vacancies open as of this time, and all our custodial positions were filled. So that focus is paying off, and we're finding that we're keeping those jobs filled. And finally, the graphic here will highlight some of that. Like Joe said, it shows from year to year in the different areas for the voluntary separation. What I would want to highlight is the total resignations represented for the last year here are 147, down from 209 the previous year. Pretty significant change. And when we look at the reasons for that, we see some of the same areas, but we see folks that are accepting other positions. And like I said, sometimes that's within the district. But if you look at that, that's the tallest one there, second one in. It's at almost half the level of the year previous. It went from 72 to 38, I believe. Other areas of note include retirement, continues to be one of the larger ones, and then an area called other, which can encompass all sorts of things, from folks that don't actually mark the form to not wanting to share particular information, or it could be connected to work that's being done with individuals to determine if their role supporting students is a good fit. Overall, this represents, I think, efforts in the focus of improving recruitment and retention and the work of an excellent team.
Okay, so kind of staying with that theme, when you look at our retention, we have seen improvement over last year. So looking at licensed, they are now up to 92% retention rate, which is pretty good. And our classified, you can really see that improvement. That 80 to 86 is really good. So that is something that we really pay attention to, and we're pleased to see that this year. Our next area is looking at our administrator hiring, and in there we have stayed pretty steady this year with just 2 new administrators and 12 internal transfers or shifts this year. Right. And then we take a look at our demographics. This overall, our demographics had stayed very consistent from last year to this year. Overall, all staff, we had a slight increase by 0.3, so 22.3%. And our students of color actually increased 2% this year over last year, so 48.1% this year. I'll pass it over to Will.
So I'm going to speak for Keela, who's out right now, Dr. Boyer, and I'm going to talk through some of our recruitment strategies that we've had for this year. And I would be remiss if I didn't say what Dr. Boyer always says, which is everyone is a recruiter, which we are. So when she watches this video, she can see that I said that. Now we can move forward with we have done several targeted recruitment efforts towards our hard to fill positions. And one of those biggest ones have been posting our pool positions early. So our pool positions for special education went up in January and the ones for dual language went up in February. And these pool positions allow us to look at people who are interested earlier in the hiring season and actually move forward with some of those individuals with our letters of intent. Those two tools combined really have helped us be way more aggressive when we're looking at getting that top talent as all the other districts are working at the same time. In addition to that, we've also worked to continue to support our school psychologist internship program. This has included having a virtual session where individuals who are in school to become a school psych intern, or sorry, become a school psych, they were able to get a session on what being an intern means here. And we found that the more of those positions we fill, the better, because a lot of those school psych interns eventually become school psychologists in our district. And that's one of the hardest positions to work on trying to fill. Also, I wanted to say, while we are going to talk about recruitment that we did last year, we did have one recruitment event this year so far that I wanted to speak at. We had our recruiters actually at the College and Career Fair last night at Saban-Schellenberg, who were meeting with our current students and talking to them about opportunities for jobs that they could get straight out of high school. So it's very exciting that we are starting early with that. I have two things. There we go. When we look at our broad recruitments events that happened last year, we had our third annual North Clackamas Career that was hosted at, North Clackamas Career Fair that was hosted at the Clackamas Community College last March. We had 140 candidates come through. That led to 42 screening interviews. The nice thing about this event is for both licensed and classified. And so we have all of our departments there, we have all of our schools there, and they're able to go through that process early in the year to see who is interested in getting jobs here. In addition to that, we're still involved with the Oregon Professional Educator Fair. Even though last year it switched to Salem, we sent a team of administrators and HR specialists down there. We were able to connect with over 120 attendees, and a lot of those individuals we moved into those pool positions so that we could work on that letter of intent process. And then finally, we also had our classified career connection that actually happened last October. We were able to work with 32 classified candidates who were looking for employment. And in addition to that, we were able to provide some one-on-one support with application completion. I want to talk about some of our targeted recruitment events. One of the big ones is our special education virtual recruitment event. This was the earliest licensed event that I've ever been a part of. It happened in January of last year, so way early. And we were able to meet with 26 individuals who were looking to get in special education in the fall. And we were able to talk to those people way in January to show them this is what it means to be at our district, and these are the potential openings. In addition to that, we also had our student teacher educator virtual recruitment event. This is probably one of my favorite recruitment events because it's an opportunity where administrators get to interview student teachers. Afterwards, we provide them feedback. And so it's like their last step in that process. So we say, hey, this is what went well. This is what didn't go well in their interview. But it also gets us firsthand look at who's gone through our program and who's spent a year in our district and who do we really want to make sure we're pushing forward and letting other administrators at. So we had 22 candidates come to that, which was great. And then finally, I want to talk about an event that we put on that was in partnership with ESS. Our ESS team has been doing a great job at filling our absences. In fact, the number of absences we've had in the district has actually gone up 19% from last year. And the number of filled positions has gone up from 75% filled to 90% filled for last year. So they're really doing an amazing job. Now, license is doing really well. They're at 98% fill rate for license. Classified is at 79. So that's why we wanted to work with ESS and say, okay, what do we got to do to get more people into those classified sub positions? And so then we had a fair, we were able to talk to 25 individuals and help them understand, here's what you need to do to be able to access that employment opportunity to be a classified sub in our district. And with that, thank you very much for allowing us to come and present, and we're happy to answer your questions.
All right, thank you for the information. Directors, what questions do we have? Director Kemp.
Yeah, I was just curious, on a yearly average, how many student teachers are there in the district? If there is an average.
We usually average within the 20s for student teachers within the district. And we've done a better job of tracking them because they all come through the HR office. So we can give you an exact number if you would like that information.
No, I was just curious. I
Yeah.
remember having some students in high school. So.
Thank you. Any other directors have a comment or question? Director Olson?
Thank you for this information. Every time I had a question, you answered it on like the next slide. So it was very, very well done. But the only thing I'm just curious about is how are the recruitment events like marketed or publicized?
We market them a number of different ways. So we market them on the Facebook page for the district. In addition to that, we have marketed them via the work that our communication department does out, sometimes in the podcasts or in the videos that come out. We also have done ads on Spotify before, and so then those go out to try to do that. And of course, we always utilize Parent Square because many times, especially for those classified positions and the ones within nutrition services, we're reaching out to individuals who maybe, I can't work a full amount, but I could put some hours in there. We want to make sure that they know that working for the district is an opportunity they have.
All right, Director Wachter, do you have a question or comment?
Thank you, Chair. Really a great presentation and reflects an incredible body of work. So, Michelle, thank you. This is so good. This is really great leadership. I just can see so many pieces of this puzzle coming together so well. Not to mention a 10-year bar graph of a chart of data table. I mean, I am in. And what I noticed in that data table is really something I want to commend you for, and that's just the commitment to creating a very diverse educational community. Like I see a line, and especially in the Hispanic classified and licensed positions that have been increasing incrementally and steadily, and really reflects our true educational community that we're in with our students too. And I know that they appreciate that even if they don't know how to articulate it, but I want to tell you, thank you for making this a diverse community. I also noticed the retention rate is incredible. In healthcare where I work, the retention goal is to retain 70% of first year hires. You're cresting like plus 90. Like that's amazing. And I think that should be called out. Is there an educational sort of benchmark to compare to? Healthcare doesn't maybe not, but especially not
The
now.
one data point that I do have is the national average for teacher retention in 21-22 was 84%. So that's the latest number I have.
Yeah. Thank you. And that big drop off from accepted another position this previous year. There's no better place to work.
Yeah. We like to think so. Thanks.
Director Tamtrang, do you have any questions or comments?
None at this time.
Okay, all right. I just had, who's on? Okay, Director Dobson, you are on. Do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. Yes, wonderful retention. It's wonderful to hear that once people are here, that they want to stay here. I think that's fantastic. So, and that really is to the work of just the culture of the district and hiring practices. And it's just wonderful to see that number. I did have a couple of questions. It said that we hired 11 new counselors. Were those new? How many of those were new? That's a lot. So how many of those were new spots and how many of those were just that we needed to fill? or were there any new spots?
So I can get you an exact number if you'd like, but the vast majority of those were actually shifting from one building within the district to another.
Oh,
But
okay.
it was a little bit more counselors than we normally see moving in the district. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. And just for folks online, two things that maybe people didn't understand. Can you explain a pool position?
Oh, yeah.
And can you explain what ESS is when it comes to classified?
Yeah. A pool position represents a posting that we put out for a special education position in general. So it would be like if we were going to post a pool, it would be for like school psychologists. Then anyone who's interested in that can apply to a pool, but it's not attached to a specific position in the district. And so that's what we do because, of course, we go through the budgeting process to figure out what positions are available. But we want to make sure that we're recruiting people without being held back by that. So we make sure we find who are all the people who are interested so we can start meeting with them, interviewing them, and then figuring out if they would be a good fit for the district. The ESS is the company that we work with for subs. And I'm trying to remember what the acronym stands for. Sorry, and I just forgot. But they're a contractor that we work with that fills our sub positions.
Okay, thank you. Just because I know sometimes those acronyms and the words that we use don't always necessarily make sense to everyone, including, just all of us needing help to understand what those mean. So thank you very much. And the only other thing I wondered is, and I know you can't always get people to tell you why they're leaving the district, it would be interesting to know how, when classified people say that they're taking another job, how many of those folks are going into another job at another school district, or are they leaving the education sphere altogether? So that would just be interesting to know when they are separating from the district, if they're going to another district or just another job altogether. So, but altogether, just wonderful information. We know we've got so many great people that work here, and it takes a team of people to make sure that that very large group of people is happy and is informed and is enjoying their job. So we thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
Oh, Director Kemp has one more question.
I'm
All right.
just curious. I mean, typically, a lot of companies do exit interviews. Is that standard regardless of the position when somebody leaves the district?
Yes, so we do send out exit interviews. Thank you for asking. And we do get them back. We also ask, so two things. So we send them individual the exit interview, which they can do online through Google, but it also offers them the opportunity to have an interview via phone or in person. And we did get 20 back from our licensed staff so far. So that's about 24%. And we did get 21 back from our classified, which is about 14%. So they're able to share with us, what did they like most about, like what are we doing well? And of course, what is it that we could do better? Any, feedback for us. And so they do share that with us and then rate other things, like pay and all, how helpful were we, or, what those kinds of things, professional development.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's really good because you can learn a lot from those sometimes.
yeah. So we
That's
definitely
what-
take a look at that and really
great.
try to, get as much as we can feedback from them.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And next on the agenda is still Miss Michelle Riddell, and we have policy revision. So I welcome the Chief of Human Resources and Business Services, Michelle Riddell.
Thank you. So good evening. Tonight, I have a first reading of revised policies, and I'm not seeking your action tonight. These policy revisions were reviewed by the superintendent's policy review team and have the support of that team. I have 2 policy revisions and 1 recommended policy deletion for you. The first policy is IKF regarding graduation requirements. The proposed revisions comply with House Bill 4137, which address how a student who has completed an international baccalaureate program may satisfy some high school diploma requirements. Additional proposed edits clarify requirements related to extended diplomas and when new state required courses begin to be required. Next is the JHCA regarding school sports participation, concussions, and other brain injuries. So OSBA, which is the Oregon State Board of Athletics, recommends consolidation of this policy and policy JHCB regarding immunizations. So the proposed language not only incorporates the immunization policy language, but it also complies with House Bill 3007, which outlines the steps that must be taken when information regarding a student's concussion or brain injury is provided to the school district. And then finally, we're bringing forward the deletion of JHCB policy. And that's recommended because the pertinent information relating to immunization of students is now included and recommended in policy JHCA.
All right, thank you. Directors, are there any questions about these two policies? There's no action tonight. It's just the first read, but do we have any questions? All right, thank you. All right, so we are done. We are about to adjourn. I want to leave you with a quote from the great B.B. King. And he says, "The beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it away from you." So enjoy your October, and we will see you in November. Meeting is adjourned at 7:02. I think I'm supposed to say the time.
In case anyone's counting.
Whoops. I do.